Planning a trip to Italy can be one of your favorite things to do. In today's video, we'll discuss 5 best tips to help you in organizing your trip to Italy. Stay tuned to find out. We are here to provide you the best global travel tips and destinations to travel around the world. So without further ado, let's get started. Tip number 5. Take one thing at a time. This is one of the regular mistakes that people make while planning their journey. They try to fill in too many things inside a single trip. Italy may look like a small place on the map, but it's definitely quite big when you have to explore the entire country. When you're planning a trip to Italy, you should make sure that you don't get your energy exhausted in half of your journey. To avoid exhaustion, you should avoid doing too many things in a short amount of time. We advise you to select a few things to do and spend a higher amount of time on those things than selecting a lot of things to do and only getting a few hours to complete those things. Well, it's up to you, but slow travel will allow you to know more about Italy, and it'll be much more satisfying. While you're planning your trip to Italy, you should choose your top things and then start your session from there. Select the places you must see and make those places a topmost priority. If they are all spread throughout the country, you may only have a quick amount of time. You may prefer to reconsider your Italy itinerary. Sometimes it's good to do the top half or the bottom half of the country if you're on a 3 to 5 day trip. If your major reason to visit Italy is to see some incredible scenery, then make that your top priority and don't try to fit in the coast and museums at that time. This will make you feel good and you'll enjoy the places that you saw in Italy. Tip number 4. International Cell Service Plan. Fortunately, with Sprint and T-Mobile, you get free global data and text messages, so you don't have to pay for an expensive global plan like others who have AT&T or Verizon. If you have a phone carrier with an expensive international plan, you should not get it while planning a trip to Italy. Spending too much money on an expensive international cell phone plan is one of the greatest mistakes people make during their trip. There are also many people who don't know much about the simple trick that we're about to share. Well, we recommend you to get a local SIM card in Italy. You can just take your SIM card from your phone and put a local one inside it. This allows you to use regional 4G networks just like the local people do. You'll love using SIM cards in Italy as they allow you fast, easy, and cheap network connection. You can usually purchase a SIM from the airport or in any downtown metro area. The SIM card costs $25 for 30 days of usage and comes with 4G speeds and 15 gigabytes of data usage. This is a great deal and is much cheaper and way faster than using your own plans for universal data. Make sure that your smartphone is unlocked for international SIM card usage. This includes calling or tweeting your cell carrier to confirm that it's unlocked for SIM additions. Just tell them that you're traveling abroad and you want to get an international SIM, which is why you'll need your phone unlocked. This is one of the easiest tips we have for you when you're planning a trip to Italy, as it makes things around you much simpler. Tip number 3. Avoid spending time in Rome. Well, make sure that you don't get us wrong by just hearing this tip. Rome is truly an amazing city to explore, but way too many people who are planning a trip to Italy for the first time were advised not to spend too much time in the city. But did they listen? Of course not. Some of them noticed spending 4 days in Rome and it was edging on too much. There are a lot of things to see and do in Rome. This includes historic monuments in the Vatican, but some people still prefer to spend between 5 to 7 days in Rome and sacrifice seeing some of the other best places present in Italy. Spending too much time in Rome is a traditional mistake that any tourist makes while planning a trip to Italy. Well, Rome clearly has a lot of places to explore, but you can feel quite hectic very soon if you're not careful in spending your time. If you have only a small amount of time in Italy, then we prefer you not to spend half your trip in Rome. Start with a quick exploration and then go out and see the rest of the things that Italy can offer. There are tons of things to capture and share in Rome, but you would be giving up an opportunity to discover Italy at a slower speed. When you're planning for a trip to Italy, make sure you consider spending around 2 to 3 days in Rome for a good first-time experience without feeling extremely rushed. Whether you're scheduling your 10-day trip in Italy, have a little more time. And if you're spending more than 2 weeks in Italy or leasing a car and doing an Italy road trip, then it's our suggestion that you must explore the entire Rome, but not for a long period of time. If you prefer to spend your 1 to 3 days in Rome, then you should watch out for special hotels. They are located in some of the amazing areas of the city to provide a great place for exploration during your journey. Tip number 2. Understanding public transportation. Many people who are planning a trip to Italy are confused about the Italian public transportation system. The best experience that many people in North America get with public transportation is watching it in a big city such as New York City or Toronto. But this also prevents us from understanding what public transportation in Italy is all about. When you're planning a trip to Italy, public transportation is widely accessible and cheap. On your first trip to Italy, you can try taking the train from Rome to Paris. Well, it didn't cost too much. You can stop in a few cities along the way, but the point here is to show you how connected Italy really can be. Now, consider flying into Rome. There are cheap public transportation choices to get you from Rome Airport into the city center. When you're in Rome, you can either take the bus or the metro around the city. Once you arrive at your destination, such as Florence, you'll have to walk out of the station, and there will be local public transportation available for you. Even the minor towns in Italy have huge local transportation options and are very cheap. When you're organizing a trip to Italy, keep this in the back of your mind, especially if you live somewhere that doesn't depend on public transportation for transit. Italy is not like North America. It's well connected to maximum places to provide an easy, accessible, and amazing experience. Tip number 1. Traveling in the off-season. Most people think that they can only plan a trip to Italy during the summer. However, you can plan a trip to Italy at any time of the year, and we highly recommend you to visit the country during the off-season. During the summer months, the whole island is crowded with local citizens, and the heat in the country also makes hotels a bad place to reside. If you visit Italy in the off-season, you can have a fantastic time. The weather remains cool and pleasant, the tourists are less, prices are cheaper, and most importantly, you don't need AC in a hotel. You can also check out the best and most accessible time of year to visit Italy. You can try different tools to find out the best flights for your trip, because you can easily compare the prices. We also recommend you to book your Italy itinerary on a travel credit card so you can earn points towards future travel. These are the travel credit cards that smart people generally use. During springtime, the weather in Italy is completely fantastic, and there are very few tourists. On the other hand, if you visit the country in mid-June, you can indulge in a fight with lots of tourists as everything is overcrowded and super hot. If summer's the only time you have when you're planning a trip to Italy, then feel free to head on your journey. But allow yourself to know that summer is not the only time you have to plan your trip. We hope this video helps you in planning your trip to Italy. Well, that's it for today. Don't forget to hit the red subscribe button so you never miss out on any of our upcoming updates. See you soon, and thanks so much for watching.